Good morning to you. You. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Won't you share with a friend or two? Good morning. Good morning to you. You. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. You. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. You. Good morning. Good morning to you, and many more, and many more, and many more. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Daring Dialogues. I'm your host today, Shantae Charles. I want to thank you for your time and for your attention. Go ahead and share this broadcast out if you are watching me live. Again, share this broadcast out if you're watching me live. We do know that Facebook deletes all live videos after 30 days, but this video will be archived over on our YouTube page. So if you're not following us on YouTube, we also advise you to follow us there. Our YouTube page is Life Nation KC, and you can find me. I'm also simulcasting over there right now. Because of the nature of this conversation, we are going to have our talk back. Again, we're going to have our talk back portion of this conversation on YouTube. So if you're subscribed to our YouTube, Life Nation KC, you'll be able to continue with us in the talk back because the camera will keep rolling after we're done with Facebook. Why do we have to do that? Because once again, Facebook is deeply in bed with the current administration, and so we know that some of what we share today would be suppressed. And because of that, we are going to have our talk back on our other page. Tony Y, I've already asked you to contact me and I've already given you my email address. So I'm not sure why you're back on my page again. Um, we have not done anything of what you said, and I've checked. So you might want to check again as to who you sent that to because we did not receive it. But thank you again for interrupting my broadcast. Okay. Again, we've given you our information to contact us. So I have not seen any email from you. Go back and look at all the other comments you put on my page and go look at where I replied for you to email us. So until you do that, I don't have any other conversation for you. But I can tell you on live publicly that you never sent anything to us. That I can assure you. So check who you sent it to and then go have an argument with them. Otherwise, stay off my page. Thank you very much. All right. So since Tony does not want to follow directions, she's already been told what to do and she's already been given who to contact. Yeah. Follow directions, Tony. Follow directions. Okay. Getting back to the subject at hand, we're going to talk today a little bit about some of the conversations and some of the topics that have been going on. Number one, we want to start out by talking about what is happening in Mississippi. There was a hanging that happened. Now, people are saying that it's being reported that it is a suicide. Um, I looked at some of the video from the family. Some of the family is speaking out, and the family is not reporting that it's a suicide. They're saying that in the autopsy, there were some broken bones. Someone else came back and said that no, that's not true. That was not found in the autopsy, but the family is saying otherwise. Being that, number one is Mississippi, and we know how Mississippi gets down. I'm going to, at this point, believe the family, and then I'm going to hold my reservations on everything else. Because, again, we know how Mississippi gets down. If you're a Black American in this country, you know how Mississippi gets down. The family member that spoke out was, I believe, a cousin that also attended the same university, and he began to detail the terrors that he went through at the university and the harassment that he endured while he was there. So again, I'm going to believe the witness and the testimony of the family and the family member that actually attended the university and has reported that this is not the first time that these kinds of events or harassments of Black people have occurred. So if you attend Delta State University, you can feel free to reach out to us, and our information to reach out will be on our page. If you feel like you want to share some things about the university that might provide us some more insight into what's happening there, feel free to reach out to us either in the comment section, and I'll give you some more information along those lines. All right. Also in the news recently, also in the news right this morning, People magazine reported that felon 4547 ordered the removal of the photo of the enslaved man's scars and information about enslavement from all national parks. This order comes less than a month after he declared that America cannot be woke because woke is broke. Clearly, yet again, someone who is consistently trying to misappropriate words. This is a tactic, unfortunately, that is often used. Taking our words and misusing them, or taking our words and subverting the message and the meaning of those words. Again, if you're Black American, you know what woke actually means. It means to be aware. It means to be conscious about what's happening and what's going on in the world. But that has come to not mean that when it comes to people trying to subvert the word. Woke now is another euphemism for Black. That's what it is. It's code for Black. So anytime you see someone from the opposite side, right? Anytime you see someone from the opposite side trying to say they're anti woke, what they're actually saying is they're anti Black. And you just need to understand that that is what's happening. Okay. Um, Someone was telling me that, but I didn't have any information yet on who the second person was. But thank you for that. Okay. Vanessa, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, my Facebook audience, Vanessa is saying that there were actually two hangings in Mississippi. The young man, Trey Reed, I believe his name is, and a homeless man was found hung in a wooded area in Vicksburg named Corey on Monday. All right, so we'll have to look into that story as well. Also in the news today, felon 4547 has ended key health and environmental projects in Black communities, reversing years of progress. And one thing I noted here on my post is that HBCU programs, those who are in the environmental field, who are not racist, will need to step in and make up the gap. And of course, this is happening all over our nation. This is happening all over our nation. Other news, day before, there was an order given to restore the Robert E. Lee portrait, which is a portrait of him with a enslaved person in the background of the painting. There was an order given to restore that portrait back to where it was placed. Now, that portrait was in place for 70 years before there was a congressional committee decision to have it removed. And now they want to restore it. But let them tell it, there's no such thing as racism in America anymore. But let them tell it, no one is actively trying to bring back the 1860s. And we know this to be a bald-faced lie. Also, this past week, there were several memorials that happened with the NFL teams. The teams that did not give a moment of silence were Baltimore, Indianapolis, and Cincinnati, along with Detroit. These were the teams that chose not to have a moment of silence, and these are the teams that are now marked as not giving a moment of silence. So those are the teams that I will be supporting. I will be rooting for those teams that refuse to have tributes forced upon them. Because what are we doing? Why are we forcing tributes upon people? If we say this is the land of the free, that means your freedom to decide what you want to honor and what you don't want to honor, right? Right. Okay, that's what I thought. The NFL teams that did honor for a moment of silence were Dallas, Green Bay, Arizona, Pittsburgh, good morning, New York Jets, Miami, Tennessee, New Orleans, and Kansas City. Okay. So that is news. Also, in case you didn't know, this gentleman here, that is David Rose. David Rose was a DeKalb County officer and U.S. Marine veteran. He was unalived in the line of duty on August 8th after he responded to the active shooter near the Centers for Disease Control. The gunman, who at the time was blaming COVID-19 vaccination for his mental health issues, fired hundreds of rounds into the CDC buildings, many of which those markings are still there on the CDC buildings. He was taken out in that line of fire. An actual public servant, not a podcaster. Okay. An actual public servant. He leaves behind his wife and 2 children with a 3rd child on the way. There was no tweet praising him for his service to the country, for his protecting other people from domestic terrorism. There was no flag being lowered at half staff. There was no religious group that made a public statement to honor his service to citizens. And you cannot find a Christian post praying for him or his wife. All right. So again, in this country, people praise and honor and support what they want to praise and honor and support. Okay. You said the coroner released the word that he wasn't assaulted. Okay. All right. On this past Sunday, many Black pastors in impassioned messages refused to canonize the podcaster. There's definitely going to be some pushback about this. Dr. Stacy Patton writes, as a journalist, Black churches carry a counter tradition that measures discipleship by love and justice and not proximity to power. That's why Sunday sounded different during the most segregated hour in America. In the coming days, this will be a church that actually receives persecution from the white Christian nationalists who not only not see their humanity, they also don't see their divinity either. So I want to say to the Black pastors who are speaking up and speaking boldly, just ready yourself, prepare yourself for the backlash that is going to come and the investigations that will probably come, as they have done to people like Lisa Cook in an effort to remove her. A federal appeals court on Monday rejected the bid from Felon 4547's administration to allow the president to fire Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, leaving intact a lower court order that reinstated her to her post. So their next move would have to be to appeal to the Supreme Court. But again, keep in mind the Federal Reserve Board of Governors is an independent body, partly for this reason, so that people cannot just go in and willy-nilly decide who should be on the board so that they can control finances in a way that they're not supposed to control. Which, by the way, Felon 45 and 47 has increased his personal wealth by $5 billion and counting with the digital side of finance. All right. I think that is it. Oh, one last thing in politics. A record number of congressional lawmakers are not running for re-election in 2026. NPR has put out a list of who and where. So if you are interested in getting involved in your local elections, I would suggest checking out this article here that's located on my feed. A record number of congressional lawmakers aren't running for re-election 2026. It is NPR and it is an official listing. It has all of the positions, who's not running and who's retiring, both Democrats and Republicans. All right. Lastly, Mayor Browser is voicing concern as the federalizing of DC police has been lifted. They are threatening to re-federalize again if DC police does not cooperate with immigration officials. As the lift has ended, Mayor Bowser has said that she will not be allowing them to further cooperate with immigration enforcement. She said that is not what the police department does. And with the end of the emergency, it will not be what they continue to do. So Felon 4547 is threatening to federalize again if they do not cooperate with immigration officials. And to that we say, resist. Also, we know that people are being targeted by a website entitled, let me see if I can go to it here. There's a website talking about catching Kirk's murderers, and they have decided to label anyone that is critical in any way as a quote unquote murderer of Kirk, which is really problematic if you think about that. The advice that lawyers are giving as people are either being doxxed or people are facing firings, advice lawyers are giving is to make sure that you are paying attention and being sensitive to what you are posting online if you have an employer. If you are not running your business, and thankfully I am, I run 3. If you have an employer, You really have no rights with with private employment. A private employer is in the business of making money, and if they feel your behavior online, on the weekend, on your own time is making them look bad, they can choose to let you go and you will have no rights. Now, most states already have this at will termination, at will employment, where an employer can fire you at will. That's already legal in most states. When it comes to the government workers in the public sector, there's a little more leeway in what personal and public opinions you can share. You can engage in public discourse, but know that it's being recorded. My thing has always been whatever you post online, whatever you're saying online, just make sure you can defend what you said in the court of law. And the caveat to that is with so much digital alterations and things being able to be made, some things you might not want to say online because your message can be twisted, it can be edited, it can be misconstrued with the use of AI and voice technology. So his advice, this attorney's advice for people who are employees, ask yourself, is it really worth engaging with someone on the internet in an argument? Ask yourself that. I know for my page, we have repeatedly said to people, if you don't want the three-letter people knocking on your door, don't be writing threats online. It's very simple. Some things you need to take to your journal. They don't need to be posted online. If you're coming in my comment section talking about how you want to do harm to somebody, I'm going to block it and I'm going to delete you. Why? Because I don't need the three-letter people showing up on my page. I don't. So some things I feel like we have to be a little bit wiser and smarter about. It's one of the reasons why I consistently post every week the words organize offline. Organize offline. There's a reason why I keep posting that. And if you click into the post, you'll see all of the resources and organizations and things that you can be a part of. There's tips on there on how to conduct yourself offline. There's tips on there on how to conduct yourself if you are stopped. There's tips on there about knowing your rights. So when you see that post come across, just click into it and you'll find the resources that are associated. All right. The other piece that I'm going to say beyond the attorney, the other piece is block. Some of these things, some of these tools that we have are on here for a reason. Even when I worked for someone else, even when I was an employee, the first thing that I did was I found my coworkers' names and I blocked them. Because why would you be in my personal business? I'm not your friend. You're a coworker. Why would you be in my personal business? So I feel like some of this we ourselves can control. We ourselves can prevent some of this. Block. Block. If they're not a friend, they shouldn't be on your personal Facebook anyway. So block them. Okay? Employers, same thing. We're not friends. I'm doing a job for you. You have my contracted time for from this to this. They shouldn't be roaming your personal page. Block, you know? So I hope people are doing that. I would hope people are not leaving their space open for people to just, be monitoring them in ways that they should not. Okay? And beyond the blocking, um if you are saying something, that might be controversial, might not be wrong, but it might be controversial, set it to your friends. Set it to your friends. Here's another helpful tip. Why are y'all – social media is a spy app. Social media is a spy app. I don't know why we don't know that by now, but social medias are spy applications. So there's things I'm not ever going to put on social media. I'm not going to put every company I've ever worked for on social media. I don't care that they asked. I'm not going to put emails up there that's not business emails. If I want somebody on my business page to contact me through my business email, I'll put that. But I'm not putting my personal emails on socials. Why? Why would I be putting every place that I've ever worked on social media? Why would I be putting every place that I've checked into on social media? Sometimes we're giving too much data, and that data then becomes weaponized against us. So I want people to think about that. I was going to be reading today from Black AF history, but we have so much happening in real time that I'm going to come back to this on next Tuesday. All right. So, those of you who are reading along with us, we are on page 20 of the book, and that's where we will pick up from. We're going to go now to our talk back on YouTube, and I'm going to have a conversation. Ben, if you can meet me over there. Also, if you all want to join us, or you want to follow us over to our YouTube page, our YouTube is Life Nation KC. You can look us up and you'll see us there live. I want to thank you for your time and attention. Thank you to those of you who are consistently here on our page, reading, engaging, responding. Um, and I'm trying to do as much as I can to share news and information with us that's happening in real time, things I feel like we need to be aware of that in one shape or another affects us as Black people. Again, this has been another episode of Daring Dialogues, and I've been your host today, Shantae Charles. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness, so continue to go out and be light. Take care, be well, and most importantly, be light. All right. Sorry about that. All right, I'm trying to send the link. Give me one moment. For some reason, it's not letting me go directly to the email, so I'm going to try this a different way. Let me try this a different way. took entirely too long. Let me know if you got it. I don't know why that took so long. Just send the link. To those of you who are watching, thank you. All right. And we're on. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so
Can you see
I
me?
can. I can see and hear you.
Okay.
All right. I know we've covered a lot.
Yes, but uh, the main topic,
Mm-hmm.
and actually it all ties in. It all ties. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. My grandson needed something, and I'm sending it to him now.
You're fine.
Okay.
And
Um.
I do apologize. We opened up our broadcast with someone writing in the comments and accusing my ministry of something we did not do. They've been writing on my page, and that's why I said I can openly say this because I know we haven't done anything. They've been writing on our
Mhm.
page claiming that they sent us money on Sunday. I checked. No money was sent to us. And I'm gonna be real honest. On Sundays, usually people don't give us an offering. We preach, but
Mhm.
most times we don't get an offering for what we preach. So this person said that they sent us a good sum of money, but they sent it by mistake. And I responded back to them and I said, here's my email. Please contact me and send me any evidence you have that we sent you money. I mean, that you sent us money because I've checked all of our platforms for giving and there is no money sitting there waiting for us to collect.
Mhm.
Okay? And so continuing to rail about something on my platforms when I've asked you not to do that, number one, and number two, to actually communicate with me in a way that makes sense. Because writing on my platform accusing me of something I didn't do doesn't make sense when I've already given you a way to directly communicate with me and provide proof of what you say. Because chances are you misspelled something and you sent it to somebody else, thinking you sent it to
Mhm.
us. Because again, we don't have your money. People have sent us money by accident from other churches, and we've sent them their money back. We've hit refund and sent it back to them. So it's not a big deal. I
Mhm.
run three businesses. I don't need to steal from anybody. My husband makes really good money. We don't need to steal from anybody.
You do all right.
I'm just saying. And so, I want to clear things up. If somebody is accusing me of something that I did not do, I'm going to put it on record that I didn't do it.
Mhm.
And until I hear from this person by a legitimate communication source, also known as email, I put my email address on there. Until I hear from her, Tony Y, if you're still listening, until I hear from you by email with proof that I've done something, I'm going to continue to ignore you because I've already told you what to do in order to address this. And if it continues, I'm going to turn your name over to some authorities. what we not doing in this day and age is we not playing with our reputation at all.
Mm-mm.
At
And
all.
here's the crazy thing, Shante. Too many of us know you and Robert. See, we know you We all. know We how
Mm-hmm.
y'all know how y'all operate.
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
know that you're
Mm-hmm.
straight up.
Straight up.
Two of the most honest people that I know. So I know you're not playing with anybody's money.
Yeah, I'm like,
And you're not the only ministry with that name.
no, we're
So
not.
they probably sent it somewhere else thinking they were sending it to you. I don't know.
Yeah, when we initially started, because there's a Life Nation that has several locations, and that's why we are Life Nation Kingdom Community. We started our ministry before them, but they are just Life Nation, and there are several locations, I think, in Virginia and some other areas. So yes, there are other Life Nations besides us, and that ministry reached out to us because they have a similar cash app that we have, and they tried to buy our name from us, and we told them no
Mm,
thank you, because we acquired the name first. So we're not giving up our name so you can have it. That's not how that works. So that's why I said more than likely she probably sent it to these other people and she thinks it's us. But
mhm,
wherever the mistake was made, the mistake was not made in our account, because we would have noticed if somebody sent us that amount of money. We would have gotten a notice by email, we would have gotten a notification by phone on Sunday, neither of which happened. So, as I said,
mhm,
if you can show me proof that you sent us money, let me see the receipt and let me see what the Cash App sign says. I can tell you whether or not you sent it to us. But I'm very clear on our end, we never received any money. Now, Cash App, from my understanding, you can cancel and report. That would be my only recommendation, is cancel it and report it. But
mhm,
as for coming on my broadcast every time I go live, because at first I was like, who is this person? And then I had to go to my notification bell, and I saw all these messages of the person saying, I'm waiting on you to respond. And I'm like, respond to what? So then I saw some more messages, and I was like, okay, what is this? What is this person saying? We took her money by, she sent us money by mistake and she wants it back. And I was like, okay. I went to all my things. I looked. I didn't see any notices for the money. I didn't see any notices with her name on it. So then I responded back and I said, hey, here's my email address. Email me with any proof you had that you sent us money, and we'll look into it. I didn't see any emails come through. And now you're back on my platform again, accusing me of something we didn't do. Sorry, that doesn't
mm.
work for me. I refuse to let it work for me. And yeah, what we're not gonna do is do that. Sorry.
Wow.
And like I said, I
Anyway,
wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known if I had not seen these notices in YouTube. And sometimes YouTube doesn't push out notices. So
mhm,
I had to go into the platform and see the notices, because they were not showing up just regularly on the page at first. I'm like, you could have been waiting for months from a response from me if that's how you're trying to get my attention. So it's just wild. We've never had that happen. We've never had anybody accuse us of financial miss whatever. Never. And I've been in ministry since 1996. So you know it's 2025. You know I'm not playing about this. Sorry.
right.
Right. Uh-uh. Now back to the subjects at hand. Black people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
This thing that's been going on since last week.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this has brought a whole bunch of stuff up. You know, it caused a whole bunch of problems, and then we got this party lying and pushing lies
Mm-hmm.
about it was the libs or the Dems,
Mm-hmm.
even before they knew who even fired the shot.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that
So
they're
what they're
saying,
doing is putting targets
yeah. Mm-hmm.
on people's backs because they know that their supporters
Mm-hmm.
are violent
And believe
and
anything they
stuff.
say without evidence.
So they're giving them fuel.
Mm-hmm.
They're still coming with foolishness.
Correct. And I've had people
And
ask,
what's sad is that people are not accepting the truth. It was one of y'all,
mm-hmm.
the violent people, the group of people that attacked the Capitol, beat up police officers,
Mm-hmm.
the
And
people that do the majority of mass shootings and mass unalivings.
here's the problem though, because I've had black people say to me, "Why are you covering this topic? Why are you covering this topic?" Let me give you three reasons why we're still talking about this topic. Number one, they are arresting people
Hmm.
if they feel like you are not, you are, if they feel like you're mocking. Okay, a black student got arrested at Texas Tech for supposedly mocking the vigil that was happening. She got arrested. Black military man got fired from his position. And there is a website where they are doxing people. And if you go look on the website, the people they're doxing are black people, LGBTQIA people, anybody that they feel is quote unquote on the left or liberal.
Hmm.
And both of those titles, the left or the liberal, essentially mean black people.
Exactly.
That's the reality. The same way they use woke is the same way they use the left or the far left or the radical left or the liberal. They essentially mean black people. They're gonna pick up some
Hmm.
other they're gonna pick up some other marginalized people within that to cover, but they essentially mean black people. So if you don't understand that, they are now using this situation to openly target us. So whether
Hmm.
you want to talk about what happened or not, the situation is being used to openly target black people, LGBTQI people. That's why we're still talking about it. Because even though
Hmm.
they know it was not the left, they are still lying and saying that it is. And now they have decided to go on a whole campaign around it. Stephen Miller put out a very detailed statement about how they're going to use this situation to hunt the left, to track
Hmm.
down the left. Who do you think he's talking about?
Us.
You better learn code. That's what all I got to say. You better learn what the code is.
Hmm.
They're telling you they're coming after you. And he said, we're coming after your livelihood, we're coming after your jobs, all of it. And so this is why it is imperative for people to start locking down your social media. Lock it down. Lock it down.
Well,
And
listen, I'm like this.
if you have some white friends, you might need to restrict their ability to see into your platform, which you can do on Facebook. You can restrict, because at this point you don't know. Somebody said that a white friend of theirs on their friend list screenshotted what they wrote and sent it in. Now that's supposed to be a friend. They
Hmm.
screenshot what they wrote and sent it in. And that's how they got on the doxing list. Because a white friend screenshotted their private comment and sent it in. So just be careful out here when it comes to what you're posting. This is why I do not allow people, I do not allow comments about threats to sit in my social media space. I don't care who you're making the
Hmm.
threat to. I don't care if you're doing it in jest or in joke, because that gets taken seriously. And now you have my page being targeted for something you said in the comment section.
Hmm.
And it's like, do y'all not understand what time it is? Do you not understand what time it is in
No.
America with three Ks? So if you want to have people who can still provide information, still give you the news, still tell you what's happening on the community level, don't do things that would bring unwarranted attention to our pages and make us targets ourselves. And then when we're not here, then who will fill that vacuum of information? So to me, it's just all around just being mindful, being considerate of other people's spaces. Like I said, if you it's okay to be angry. There's a lot of stuff right now in this country to be angry about, but take it to your journal.
Hmm.
Everything does not need to be posted online. Don't make yourself an unnecessary target. And I didn't think I was going to have to come and say this today, but clearly I do. Don't make yourself an
Hmm.
unnecessary target.
Right. Now, here's the thing. They want to come after you for mocking an openly racist person
Mm-hmm.
that spewed a bunch of lies that actually placed targets on groups of people's backs.
Mm-hmm.
But the felon in charge, didn't he mock people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, that's the hypocrisy.
They all have mocked people.
Yeah,
They still mock George Floyd. They
yeah.
all have mocked people, but they are the ones in
So,
power right now. And so that's what we need to understand. We need to understand that right
what they
now
need to understand,
we are in a unjust world that they are
hmm
creating more injustices in real time. They're
and what
creating
they need to understand is because of that, they're going to fall.
they will, but what
They're
we need to
going to.
understand what we need to understand though is they are creating more injustices in real time.
Hmm.
And so in wisdom, do what you need to do to stay out of the realm of
Hmm.
being swept away in the injustices they are creating. We know you should by now know what time it is in America.
Hmm.
I'm going to give you an example on the post that I put up about the gentleman in Delta, Mississippi who was found hanging on a tree um, at the back part of his university near the pickleball courts. On that post, somebody came into the comment section saying, "Is this still happening?" And I said, "It never stopped happening. It never stopped happening. There was just, I think, this summer, two black boys who were supposed to be on their way got off on a plane, and in their break, they somehow wound up at the top of a mountain, both of them unalived. And they talking about it was a suicide. It never stopped happening."
Hmm.
You know what their response was? White woman. You know what her response was? "Well, black people can be racist too."
No, they can't.
Ma'am, that is the kind of verbal violence, because that's verbal violence. To come on a post about a black person being lynched to say black people can be racist too when we know that's patently false. They can be bigoted, they can be prejudiced. But in
Mm-hmm.
this country, we have not held the power to make sure the majority of white people don't have jobs or no housing or whatever. So it's patently false. And I told her, I said, you know what? Because she said, well, I don't understand why I'm not accepted in many spaces with black people and I keep getting booted out. I'm like, let me tell you
Mm-hmm.
why. I said, let me tell you why. First of all, I'm hiding this comment so that my followers don't cuss you out. That's number one. I'm hiding this comment so that my followers don't cuss you out. But number two, let me tell you why black spaces are kicking you out. How do you look coming on a post about somebody being murdered, lynched, to tell us that black people can be racist too? How are you centering yourself in this conversation and then saying something false and then have the nerve to wonder why you're not accepted in most black spaces? Ma'am, have several seats. And like I told
Yes,
her, I
because you're
said,
racist.
and like I told her, I said, there are other spaces that are teaching. I don't teach here. Not the kind of teaching you need. The kind of
Mm-hmm.
teaching you need to explain why your statement is wrong, you're going to have to pay me.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, here's a course you can go take. But what you just said, you centered yourself. You tried to show up with a false statement, and you're not even being sensitive to the topic that black people are dealing with and grieving over the loss of this boy's life. You chose to center yourself, and I told her, I said, you chose of all the posts on my page, this is the post that you chose to come and make this statement under. That's why you're not being received.
Mm-hmm.
Now go somewhere else.
Wow.
Here, take this link, take this link, take this recommendation, go over there and take their course. Because I don't have time for the deconstruction that you need to do. You need to do it. I just don't have time for that.
Listen, Shante, those are the type of people that'll take a gun, check to see if it's loaded, load it, point it at their foot and pull the trigger, and can't figure out why their foot got shot.
So that's how my morning starts off. When
Wow.
people see me, it's because by the time I get to the screen to talk to y'all, that's the kind of foolishness I done been dealing with this morning. And like
Girl,
I
I'm praying
said,
for you.
I hide comments because I know that most of my followers would have drug her from one end of the internet to the next. But I didn't need that. I don't need you to drag those kind of people. I need them to go find a space amongst themselves where they can go learn. Because you're not ready to be in conversation with black people the way we are in conversation on my page. You're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told her, I said, this is a learning resource. This is where you can go to learn. But you got to be willing to lay down the lies that you've believed about black people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be willing to pack up the false ideas that you've believed about black people, even for the learning to sink in. Because I sent her to another black
Mm-hmm.
woman. That black woman, her passion is to help white people learn. That ain't my passion. Sorry, it ain't.
Right.
I know who I'm sent to. I'm sent to black people to talk to black people to help us with us. That other black woman, her passion is teaching and training white people to deconstruct from whiteness. That's who I sent her to. It's a paid course. She can go pay that black woman and learn. But I told her, I said, you're not ready for this space. Because the stuff that you saying in my comment section, black people will cuss you out of it. And I'm not finna go chasing behind every black person that cuss you out. I'm just not finna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Okay. But
No.
don't come into my space doing that again. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do the black people are racist too thing in my space. Don't do it. So I just sent her on. I gave her who she could go get training from, and I sent her on. But I'm like, ma'am, yeah, mm-mm. you you don't come on a post about a black boy being lynched talking about black people can be racist too, ma'am.
Right. Anytime you hear about a black person committing suicide by lynching themselves, you really need to check that out because we don't do that. I'm not going to say there hasn't been one or a couple that's done it, but that's suspicious.
Especially when we know,
That's very suspicious.
especially because we know the history connected to it and tied
Right.
to it,
Yeah.
especially because of that.
Hmm.
I am glad of the ruling about Lisa Cook and him not being able to remove her. He needs to know that there are limits to power.
Hmm.
We know that they're trying to push and 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 they're trying to push just to see how far they can go.
Hmm.
And good morning and hello to those of you who are still coming in. They're trying to push to see how far they can go. And I'm glad we have some judges that are still holding the line, that are still following the rule of law, because we know some of them are not. They're just not. They're just like, okay, I don't want to
Hmm.
be attacked. So let me go ahead and rule and let him continue to do what he's doing. We know that. But I'm very thankful for the judges that are holding the line.
Right. Definitely.
So they said there's a possibility that he could appeal it to the Supreme Court. And that is going to be if the Supreme Court lets him try to fire this lady from an independent body that has to do with our finances, America is cooked. You hear me?
Yeah.
We will be cooked
Definitely.
when it comes to our money, the Federal Reserve. Because all he's trying
Hmm.
to do is get somebody in there so they can streamline his little Bitcoin crypto scam he got going on. That's really what it's about. I feel he's trying to get someone in there so he can get some things approved when it comes to crypto, because he's already made $5 billion. He's added $5 billion to his portfolio, his family's portfolio.
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
um,
Since he's been in office.
yep, all of this because people were afraid of a black woman. You were so afraid of a black woman leading, but you're not afraid of how this person is literally tearing the country up.
Hmm.
Final thoughts. I know gotta run. Final thoughts.
Uh, we need to wake up big time. And one of the biggest, I don't want to call them culprits, but they're helping. The biggest problem is what we call the black church, because we're the one. Many of them are focusing on same-sex marriage. I had a conversation this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I see why a lot of black Democrats are going to Republicans because of same-sex marriage. I say, okay, What does that have to do with your life being ended?
Mm-hmm.
You losing everything. Somebody that epitomizes the seven things that God hates and is totally and completely evil, and you can't even get out there and witness to these people that you're saying he's coming. Christ didn't tell us to make laws, did he? He told us to go and teach. He told us to draw through love and kindness. One of the reasons he came is because the Lord did nothing for the soul. And that's what he's about, a relationship. So coming to, you can do all the laws you want against same-sex marriage and LGBTQ. That's not going to do anything for the soul. Witnessing will. So I'm not voting for evil. There was no way I was going to vote for evil. Not at all.
Mm.
I wasn't going to vote for racism. Not at all. I wasn't going to vote for somebody that wants my life ended. Not at all. But this is exactly what some of us did. Because you're either looking at the woman because she's a woman, or you're looking at, well, Democrats, they for LGBTQ. Well, God did say choose you this day who you'll serve. He didn't say y'all better serve me. So we got to twist it as the black quote unquote church. We got to twist it.
But let's also help people to understand that the Republican Party has LGBTQIA members as well.
Definitely.
They have a whole caucus. So this whole notion of only LGBTQIA people are on the Democratic side is also false. And if you didn't know that, you know it now because we just told you. Okay.
Hmm.
So again, it's a false issue that's being perpetrated as if there are no gay people, there are no LGBTQIA people on the right, and there are. So I don't even know.
Santos.
I don't understand how that was a whole dividing line to begin with, because they are on both sides. There are independent
Hmm.
LGBTQIA people. So what are we doing? What are we even saying? But Pastor, I want to thank you for your time and I want to thank you for your attention. If you want to see what we are writing about, what we're sharing online on Facebook, you can find our Facebook page, Black Table Talk. That's where we post articles. That's where we post current news, whether it's politics or finance, what's happening in Black achievement. All of those things are on our Facebook page, Black Table Talk. Come join us. There's 158,000 plus people on the page sharing, conversing, and communicating about what matters in the Black community. This has been another episode of Daring Dialogues, and I've been your host today, Shantae Charles. I want to thank you for your time and for your attention. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness. So continue to go out and be what, Pastor?
Light.
Light. Take care, everyone. Be well, and most importantly, be light.